Okay, week 5. I can't believe it. It's going really quickly. So this week we're going to be exploring self-compassion. Oh, not that one. Come on. So within mindful compassion, we're going to do a mindful compassion practice. And then we'll have a space to share about our direct experience. And for those of you who are practicing a little bit later, an invitation to press pause and either sit in quiet contemplation or make some notes or talk out loud to, if anyone's practicing with you, share your experience of the practice. And then at the end, you'll be invited to a practice do in your own time. So mindful self-compassion combines the skills of mindfulness and self-compassion, providing a powerful tool for emotional resilience. So randomized controlled trials have demonstrated that mindful self-compassion significantly increases self-compassion, compassion for others, mindfulness and life satisfaction, as well as decreasing depression, anxiety and stress. And it's something that we can deliberately cultivate, like working out a muscle. So there are studies that show that for every negative experience we have, we need 5 positive experiences to counter affect it, because of the way that our brains are, the way that we work. We will focus on the negatives more than the positives. So in a similar way with compassion, we can cultivate this muscle and train ourselves to explore being with ourselves compassionately. And it involves acting in the same way towards yourself when you're having a difficult time, fail, or notice something you don't like about yourself as you would to others. So instead of ignoring your pain with a stiff upper lip, you stop to tell yourself, this is really difficult right now. How can I comfort and care for myself in this moment? In this way that we tend to be so good with others, it's cultivating it towards ourselves. What does it look like? So instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings. After all, whoever said you were supposed to be perfect? The 3 elements are an approach of self-kindness versus self-judgment, exploring common humanity versus isolation, and mindfulness over identification versus over identification. So within this practice, we're going to pay close attention to the physical sensations throughout the body when you observe your experience of observing yourself in a compassionate way. So the goal isn't to change or relax your body, but instead to notice and become more aware of it. So setting yourself up for the practice, you can have your eyes open or closed, just taking a moment to arrive in your body. You're taking a moment to connect to your body, noticing where it touches the earth, your seat, the points of contact that you're making with the earth, your clothes against your body, the air against your skin. Having a sense of arriving. Perhaps congratulating yourself for taking the time out of your day to be here. These techniques are simple, but they're not easy. And finding the time to sit, be in stillness is not an easy one. There are so many things you could be doing, and your mind will be wandering off into them, no doubt. You're taking a moment to arrive in your body and to take an internal weather report or a shipping forecast or a seascape. How are you? The thoughts, the emotions, the physical sensations. leaving behind the judgment of the experience and dropping into them, the felt sensations of how you are in this moment. Fatigue, hunger, pain, joy, delight. Whatever's there, allowing it to be as it is. Noticing the shapes and colours and textures, the movements, sensations. And now an invitation to narrow your attention to your breath. So not changing the rhythm in any way, but simply allowing your body to breathe. So it's breathing itself. Simply breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps noticing the pauses between the in-breath and the out-breath. Where is your breath most vivid for you today? Perhaps taking a moment to explore the breath in a compassionate way. You don't need to tell your body what to do or how to breathe or what it needs to do with the air that goes in and out of your body. It simply does what it needs to do. Exchanges of gas across membranes and into cells and out of cells. Holding your breath with an attitude of kindness and curiosity and compassion. Your breath, the in-breath, the out-breath, and the pauses, all serving their own purpose. Very specific and intentional and necessary. We all breathe. What do you notice in your breath today? And I invite you to bring a slight, small smile. Nothing too forced. And just a slight upturn of the mouth. And an invitation to explore your breath and the sensations that you notice when we make this small, deliberate movement to our mouths. What are the felt sensations of breathing with a small smile on your face? What do you notice? Being curious and interested. There's no right or wrong way of doing these practices, and following my guidance only if it feels right for you. We're learning to listen and pay attention to ourselves and our bodies. Now expanding your awareness from the breath to include all of your body, breathing here. And holding yourself in awareness in a compassionate and affectionate and kind way. Perhaps the way that you might do a small child or a puppy or a kitten. Holding yourself in a compassionate way with affection and kindness. And dropping into the felt sensation of holding yourself in this way. The pleasant, the unpleasant, the neutral experience that you are noticing. Whatever is there, allowing it to simply be. Being curious and interested in yourself. That childlike curiosity we lose along the way, being interested in the small details of what it is to be you, breathing in your body, that slight smile. Is it still there? Has it disappeared? Noticing the judgments pop in. And dropping into the felt sensation of them within your body. Perhaps noticing how we have a tendency to want to cling to the pleasant sensations and push away the unpleasant. And simply allowing yourself to be as you are right now, held in a space of compassion, self-compassion. And if there are sensations within the body that are particularly distracting, maybe uncomfortable, or pleasurable, knowing that you have a few options of how to explore that, be with it. You can move, weaving the movements into the meditation. That's noticing how your brain tells your body what to do before you make the movement, slowing it down, as if moving through treacle. And then resting in the felt sensation of having made those movements and adjustments. Secondly, you can explore the sensations, notice where they are in the body. They have a shape, a color, a texture, a movement. Do they tingle or throb? You don't need to go right into the center of the sensation. You can explore around the edges. Allowing the sensations to be as they are. That the mind will add its judgments in. And returning your attention to the direct and felt sensations that you're noticing. Where they are. What are they? And then thirdly, we have the choice of using the breath being playful with that breath, either breathing into or around the sensation, and whatever breath suits you today in this practice. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, but being playful and curious and interested. Perhaps this breath can give a sense of spaciousness, perhaps not. And then returning your attention back to the breath in the body and that small smile, holding yourself in a self-compassionate way, with kindness and interest and curiosity. As we explore being with ourselves in this very deliberate and specific way, paying attention of cultivating present moment awareness for what it is to be us, and exercising the muscle of self-compassion. Meeting ourselves where we are, as we are right now. We don't need to change anything. And then narrowing your attention back to your breath. Simply breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps noticing where the breath is most vivid for you now. And then expanding your awareness to include all of the body, the space above you, beneath you, beside you. Where do you begin and end? Remaining in stillness, I'm going to read a poem. Quite a long poem. If you need to move and stretch, please do so. That mindful, compassionate manner which you've been holding yourself. It's by John Rodell. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become eventually. They couldn't be in the same room with each other. Now my head and heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week and my heart gets me on weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week, and their notes they send to one another always say the same thing. This is your fault. On Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past, and on Wednesday, my head lists all of the times my heart has screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying. So lately, I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist most nights. I sneak out of the window in my ribcage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow. I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future. I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go and stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There's no yesterday in your lungs. There's no tomorrow there either. There is only now. There is only inhale. There is only exhale. There is only this moment. There is only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and head work their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I'd packed a little bag and walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened the door with a smile, and as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?" So moving, stretching, if you haven't done so already. And I'm going to press pause on the recording and open up a space to share in that experience. So for those of you practicing a little later, an opportunity to spend some time reflecting on what it was like to hold yourself in a space of compassion in that way. It's not an easy exercise to do. So just to close with the home practice. I've forgotten I had to put that slide in. So with that mindful self-compassion practice, what did you notice? What are the felt sensations you observed of your experience of holding yourself in a compassionate way? Did you notice any automatic judgments or self-criticism or maybe discomfort? Being interested in our reactions and our habits and our way of speaking to ourselves can be so fascinating. And the home practice for this week is an affectionate breathing practice. So this will be on the page for you to be doing. And the invitation is to do this once a day. It's around 10 minutes. And let me know how you get on, how you find cultivating and working on this compassionate muscle that we're exploring together. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. And do reach out with any questions or queries that you have about the practices or the home practices. See you soon.